Imagine a killer meticulously planning a murder down to the exact second and, well, even the street name.
Right, it sounds like a criminal mastermind.
Exactly, and executing it perfectly. But now imagine finding out that blueprint wasn't written by a mastermind at all, but by a lonely middle schooler in a diary. Welcome to today's deep dive. We are unpacking a highly detailed YouTube video transcript covering the case of Yang Jinhai.
Yeah, he's one of China's most prolific killers.
Right. And our mission today is to trace how severe isolation and, a total deflection of blame can turn a creative, marginalized mind into a real-life tragedy for you, the listener, to really explore.
And the foundation of this case really starts with a psychological seed planted in his youth. So Yang was born in 1968 into extreme poverty.
Right.
He was highly intelligent but deeply introverted, so writing became his primary outlet. He created this profoundly detailed fictional universe he called the Play of Laws.
And the main character in this Play of Laws universe was a lonely outcast, right? Basically a mirror image of Yang himself.
Yeah, exactly.
But this protagonist was an anti-hero who committed meticulously timed murders. The entire point of the story was how he successfully evaded justice.
And this wasn't just, world building for a creative kid. It functioned as an early, really desperate coping mechanism for his intense social alienation.
Right. That makes sense.
He felt powerless in the real world, so he built a psychological bunker where he held ultimate power. It actually terrified his parents, especially his mother, who genuinely worried he might one day act it out.
Okay, wait. I'm struggling with this leap, though. Because plenty of teenagers write dark, edgy stuff in their journals or write grim fiction, and they never harm anyone.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Feels like we are applying hindsight bias here. How do we know this wasn't just typical teenage angst?
Well, the difference lies in what happened when that psychological bunker became his only reality. I mean, for most teens, dark writing is a release valve.
Right, you get it out of your system.
Exactly. But for Yang, it became a literal storyboard. At 17, he dropped out of school, claiming people's voices quite literally pierced his ears.
Oh, wow. That is a massive red flag.
Yeah, it really is. He became a drifter, severing his remaining ties to society and starting a cycle of petty thefts, labor camps, and eventually an attempted assault.
He was already detached, but the source material highlights a specific catalyst in 1999 that shattered whatever grip on reality he had left.
Right, the girlfriend.
Yeah. He managed to get a girlfriend, they fell in love, and he was actually planning to propose. Then she discovered his assault record and left him.
And this is where the psychological mechanism of deflection really takes over. When faced with ego-destroying rejection, the human brain will sometimes rewrite reality to cast itself as the victim rather than accept fault.
Just totally flipping the script.
Exactly. Instead of looking inward and realizing his own violent history ruined his relationship, Yang completely deflected. He blamed society's rules for his misery.
It's a terrifying extreme of something we all do. Shifting the blame. When you get rejected or fail, it's so much easier to say the game is rigged than to admit your faults.
Oh, absolutely.
But for Yang, that self-preservation instinct mutated into a justification for absolute brutality. It created a sealed psychological ecosystem that sparked a 4-year rampage.
Yeah, a rampage resulting in 67 confirmed murders.
It's just unbelievable.
And because he was operating entirely within that sealed ecosystem, he still viewed himself as the untouchable anti-hero from his childhood book. He developed these bizarre, calculated rules for his crimes based on his own fiction.
Like the weapons, right?
Yeah, he constantly switched weapons, axes, shovels, hammers, and he left white gloves next to his victims.
He also stole his victims' clothes and wore them until his next murder.
Right, which is just so unsettling.
By constantly changing his clothes, he wasn't just hiding. It's like he was resetting his identity, like a player starting a new level in a video game, strictly adhering to the survival rules of his Play of Laws.
Yeah.
It's like a morbid method actor refusing to break character to avoid detection.
That is a great way to put it. And that rigid adherence to his own rules is ultimately what exposed him. So in November 2003, during a routine police check at a nightclub, his paranoia kicked in.
He acted suspiciously, I assume.
Yeah, he tried to slick out the back and was detained by bouncers. A quick police ID check revealed his massive trail of crimes, and he confessed almost immediately.
And yet he remained completely unrepentant.
Exactly. Even when sentenced to execution by firing squad in February 2004, he viewed himself as the true victim of society. He never once stepped out of his fictional universe.
We've traced a deeply disturbing evolution today. From a marginalized child writing lonely fantasies to a man who violently forced his fictional universe onto the real world.
It is definitely a chilling case study on isolation.
Which leaves you with a final thought to ponder today. Think back to that middle school diary. If Yang's parents or teachers had recognized his play of laws not just as a creepy story, but as a desperate psychiatric red flag, could 67 lives have been saved?
That is the big question.
Or does pulling such dark, detailed thoughts out of your head and putting them onto paper somehow make their real-world execution inevitable?